Hi everyone, how are you? Hope you're well. I just got back from a walk with the dog, and I have to say, today is like, in my opinion, because that's the only one I can go by, today is like the perfect weather. It's the weather where you can wear jeans and a sleeveless shirt comfortably. The sun is really beautiful, there's not a cloud in the sky, and I needed that today, honestly. I, um, I had a really, and I'm sharing this because I just wanted to talk a little bit about what we do with that as well as what my experience was. But in any case, without going into details, I had a really difficult night last night. Um, you know, the kind of time you have when you just cry those ugly tears. The ones that give you a headache. I couldn't even get my head comfortable on the pillow last night because I think I cried for hours. It was healthy though because it was like a purge. It's like a deep purge, honestly. And I'm not highlighting, whatever that was about or anything like that. It's just I know we've all been there at some point in our life, depending on our age and our experiences. Age doesn't always have anything to do with it. Um, but in any case, it was a difficult night where I just really struggled with a lot of my internal belief systems and direction and everything else. And it also probably happened because I didn't sleep much the night before, so I was emotionally vulnerable all day. Um, Even though I started with my meditation, my grounding, and everything else, I was still fairly stressed yesterday. Not only with things that I was dealing with internally, but also just the fact that I was tired. So always be mindful of that. When you're dealing with difficult emotions, what's bringing that up for you? Are you hungry? Are you feeling okay? Are you really tired? That's not the only thing that's bringing up, but it might be magnifying that for you, right? It definitely magnified things for me last night, but at the same time, I don't believe in coincidence. So I think it needed to because there were some things that needed to be magnified. And in any case, I was a little angry with my creator last night, with spirit, with the universe, with God, whatever you want to call whatever beliefs you have in with regards to where you come from. That's going to vary from person to person. No judgment, just saying, I believe in God. I believe in creation. I believe in the universe. I believe in spirit. I believe in life after death. I believe in all kinds of things that a lot of, oh my God. I'm going to get to that. I just saw a monarch butterfly. All right, that was like the creme de la creme for today, honestly. So anyway, regardless of my belief systems, because we all have our own and we have them for a reason. Um, it's just an indication of where you're at in your journey, and there's no right or wrong with that, in my opinion. Some people would say, "Oh, I'm a heathen." Some people would say, "You're going to hell because you don't think that's wrong." Whatever floats your boat, whatever gets you through the day. Just recognize at the end of the day, your belief systems, do they make you feel good? Or do they make you feel a particular way? Whatever way that is, be honest with yourself and look at it. Because if your belief systems are disempowering versus empowering, then only you can do something about that. Because you're never going to change other people, ever. You can have an impact on their lives with the boundaries you may set. But at the end of the day, people have free choice and they're going to make the choices that they're going to make. Okay? And you are not going to impact their belief systems. Only you can impact your own. And that, again, is a personal journey between you, your creator, or you, your higher self. In DBT, we call it wise mind. Okay? Because a lot of people have a lot of valid reasons for not believing in God. Those reasons that they don't believe are usually some of the reasons that I do, because back to what I was originally saying, it was a difficult night last night. I felt like I was I always get them mixed up. I think Jacob was Isaac's son. I forget what his original name was, but Israel. Forgive me. I used to know very clearly. But in any case, the one that battled with God on the beach. That's what it kind of felt like. I felt like I was in hand-to-hand combat with myself, and just, it was difficult, but it was refreshing at the end of the day. And you know what? I gotta say, Spirit really came through for me today, because I went to sleep. My head was pounding. I fell asleep. And when I woke up, my head was still pounding. As soon as I walked out the door and I was heading to my much overdue hair appointment with my beautiful cousin, I'm so happy to have my red back. I had like an inch and a half of grays coming in. And the funny thing is they weren't bad, in my opinion. Like, I didn't mind them so much. It's just that I missed my red. So I went back to red, and I'm happy. So if you see like my little, that'll fade in a day. But that's because I have my little wispies that she has to get. Anyway, I digress. But I stepped outside, and the air hit me. It was beautiful, refreshing. On the way there, that's when it all started. All of the synchronicities, but this time it was in nature. A lot of times I get like the number synchronicities, like the other day I had 10, 10, 10. Talk about endings, new beginnings. In any case, today it was really about nature. On the way to the appointment, there was a hawk flying above my car. It was gorgeous. I got there and I sat next to this lovely, lovely older woman, the kindest. Like, we didn't even exchange a lot of words, but she just had amazing emotional energy. You know, she was just so kind and sweet. And I ended up sitting next to her. She was one of the hairdresser's grandmothers, and I didn't realize that, but my cousin told me. And I had to say something to her. I did. I said, "What is your name, if you don't mind me asking?" And she's like, "Barbara." And I'm like, "Barbara, you have the sweetest energy." You know, and some people might think I'm crazy for saying something like that, but she was like, "Me?" And I was like, "Yes, it's a privilege to have met you. Thank you." And she smiled. I mean, that was my intention. I don't know if those were my exact words, but it was somewhere along that line. It's like, "You're just really sweet." And she was like, "Thank you so much." And I'm like, "Thank you. It's been a pleasure sharing a smile with you." Right? And I had a wonderful conversation with my cousin and a nice big hug, and I went back out to the car, and I just felt good. You know, I felt, it's like residual, and it will be there, but I felt good in the moment. And I think that's really important for anyone going through anything difficult, is really be in the moment and not just caught up in what the difficulty is. Pay attention to your surroundings. I came home, I took my shoes off, and I walked barefoot around in my yard. I felt like there was like a gift out there for me to find. It was funny, but that was like my instinct. So I started walking around, and I came across this blue jay feather, really, really pretty. And I was like, "Thank you. That was really sweet," you know, because they say, and I'm not pushing beliefs on you because I don't know the truth, but they say if you find feathers, that's your angels telling you that they're with you, right? And walking down, I got the mail, and walking down, there was this little white butterfly, and I stopped, and I like to sit underneath or stand underneath my favorite tree every once in a while, because they also say trees can really rid you of negative emotions. And I believe that, because I don't know science behind it. I don't know the truth behind it. I just know that that's how it feels for me. So you figure out what feels good for you. But for me, being around trees makes me feel good. So I like to do that. So I stood there and I kind of hung out with a tree for a few minutes. And while I was doing that, that same white butterfly came over and landed right next to my foot. And it stayed there the entire time that I was with the tree. And I was like, wow, I'm really being looked over today. That was my gut feeling. That's how I felt. I felt loved. I really did. So I went in, I did some stuff that I had to do. And when I went for the walk with my dog, I counted no less than 8 different butterflies, separate. And on a couple occasions, and I know they were separate because one's on one side of this area and the other's on the other side, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't the same butterflies. So in any case, they just kept flying around me, getting my attention. And I saw one yellow one, not a monarch. It was a small one like the white ones, but it was a different color, and that was really cool. And then honestly, right now, I saw that monarch butterfly. I'm like, again, I'm not, all I can say, I don't know what hidden meanings are, or even if I did, that's between me and my guides or whatever. But for purposes of this, the important thing was it made me feel loved. It made me feel good. It made me feel watched over, if you will. Some people will say that's your passed on loved ones. Other people will say, well, butterflies mean transformation. Other people say, it means all kinds of things. All I know is how it made me feel in my body. It's back to that somatic experience, right? In my body, I felt warm and fuzzy, which was the complete antithesis of how I felt last night. Last night, I felt raw. I felt exposed. I felt angry. I felt hurt. I felt inadequate. I felt all kinds of things that, I think we can all relate to at one point or another in our lives. And today, I feel the complete opposite. And not necessarily around the subject matter, but just in general. I just feel nurtured today. And not alone. And that's important. Because that feeling doesn't have to come from another human, although it's all about perspective, right? I was surrounded by beautiful people today. My cousin, Barbara, she was so sweet. She really was. And then my kids, they came home and I had some nice tender moments with them. So again, it's paying attention to those things. And when something happens that makes you feel a particular way, if it's unpleasant, you don't need to avoid it. You don't need to shut it down. I sat with it. Like I said, it was like, I don't know, it was Jacob, Isaac, Israel, whoever battled with God on the beach. And that was me last night. And I sat with it. I did. I didn't run away from it, where in years past I might have shut myself down. I would have avoided it. It's like an Aquarian superpower. We can shut off our emotions. You're not going to know what we're feeling unless we want you to. But I'm kind of done with that. And not from a place where I'm like emoting on people left and right. It's not, hopefully negatively. Some might get that, but not as frequent as it once would have happened, I'm sure. In any case, it's not being afraid of, lack of a better term, your demons. And we all got them. Sometimes when you look it in the eyes, like what they used to say, or they still do, I don't know, is you stand up to a bully, right? Well, a lot of times those negative belief systems or those thoughts about yourself or scenarios or whatever the case may be, those are like a bully. They like to take over our thoughts. They like to take over our emotions. And sometimes we have to stand up to them. Obviously, timing's important. Like I've said in the past, you're not going to do, if you're working heavy equipment, for example, that's not the time to be wrestling with your demons, right? That's the time where you have to be mindful about what you're doing at hand, because that's a safety issue. I was sitting alone on the couch last night. So that was a time and a place. And I feel better today. And progress is good, right? Regardless of how little or whatever, as long as we keep moving forward. There was this meme and I laugh about it. It was saying like our version of progress is like this. God's version of progress is like this. I think a lot of people can relate to that too. At the end of the day, progress is still progress, so own it. When you're still even one step ahead, moving in the whatever direction it is that your goals are in, that's still progress, so own it. We're not aiming for perfection in this life, and if you are, you're setting yourself up for failure, because perfection is a construct. It's a measurement tool, but it's not based or grounded in reality. What's perfect for me in this moment may not be perfect for me in 5 minutes. So go with the flow. That's my dog. Apparently he sees the neighbor's cat. Sorry. I'm wrapping up now anyway. I hope you have a great day. Sorry. He's doing his job. But he sounds so wimpy when he does it, because he does more crying than he does barking half the time. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful day. If you have the ability to get outside and ground yourself while the weather's still warm, if you're in this area, I'm in New England, I'm in Massachusetts, it's going to start getting cool in the next month or so, where going barefoot in the lawn isn't going to be feasible. So I'm taking advantage of it as much as I can. Ooh, be careful, honey. It's just a kitty. All right, I gotta go give him some love. So do what you can to make yourself feel good, okay? Don't run from your feelings. Don't run from emotions, but allow yourself to feel it, face it, and process. Anyway, if you, for whatever reason, like this video, if you find it helpful, then please hit the like button, because that is only going to make it more visible for other people. Sorry. We love them. If you like my messages, then subscribe to the channel, because again, that's also going to make it more visible for other people. And if you find this video would be helpful for anyone in particular, then please feel free to share. Okay? At the end of the day, have a wonderful Wednesday, and I will talk to you soon. All right. Bye. Briggsy!